Hey there, welcome back. It's Lucy from Feel Fit with Lucy, and today we've got an indoor swim workout for you. So we're going to start off as always with some mobility work. Now I'm going to do this against the wall so you can see me. You can do this lying on the floor. It's a lot easier lying on the floor. You can do it against the wall, but I wouldn't particularly recommend it. So you're going to lie on the floor on your side, legs just comfortably bent, one arm out, the arm that's on the floor out in front of you. Then take your top arm, reaching in front, reach as far as you can, and then with that top arm, you're going to make a big circle all the way around, opening up through the chest, all the way around, stroking the thigh and back through. So if you can, you want these fingers, the moving hand, to be touching the ground all the way through. If it's a bit tight, like I can feel that's a bit tight there, I'm just coming away from the wall, absolutely fine. So don't force it, always with our mobility work, we're working to your range of motion, aiming to build that range of motion, but never forcing it. So we're going to do about 3 to 5. If you feel tight, do a few more. I'm just going to do those 3. Now we're going to go to a side lying open. So still lying on your side, same side, you're going to put your hand on top of what is your top knee. Okay? You want that knee to stay where it is. You don't want it to slide backwards. So fix that knee, arm out, and then opening out. Follow the arm with the nose. Feel that stretch across the chest there. You might be feeling it through your back as well, but we're really looking to open out the chest. So we find when we're sitting at the desk all day, we get very tight through these muscles here at the front. They become tight and we struggle to engage the muscles at the back. So we want to be loosening out the front, and then in a minute I'm going to show you how to engage at the back. Okay, so swapping over onto your other side, so lying on the other side. Again, just knees comfortably bent, bottom arm on the ground, top arm reaching forwards, and then big circle over on the other side. Whew, I'm tighter on that side, I've come completely away from the wall. We always have imbalances one side to the other, but by doing this work regularly, we're hoping to undo these imbalances. There we go, all the way on the wall. So obviously when we're not able to get into the swimming pool, we are going to be losing swim fitness. I don't think there's any amount of indoor swim training we could do that could ever replicate what we do in the pool. So what we're trying to do today is to do what we can to maintain some fitness, but accepting some of it's going to get lost. So then we're into those openers. So again, fixing that top knee with your hand that's closest to the ground, other arm out, opening out, feeling tight, feeling that stretch through the chest. So yeah, we won't be able to replicate the whole of the fitness that we have through swimming. What we can do is spend the time that we've got, and if we have got a bit more spare time, in really making sure that we're bulletproofing our body, ready for when we get back outside again or back into the pool again. So doing mobility work that we tend to neglect normally, trying to make sure that we're really making sure we've got that full range of motion for when we get back into the pool. From there, you're going to go into, you can either do kneeling on all fours, if you know the one, pretend I'm on all fours now, and you're opening out like that, reaching through, opening out, or I'm actually going to do it just working on the mobility, or sorry, the rotation that I want in swimming. So I'm bringing one shoulder down, and then the other shoulder down. And then I'm going to follow the motion with my head, as if I was swimming, maybe rotating a little bit more. But often we get so locked up in the back here that we lose this mobility through the upper back. So just loosening up, getting that rotation through the upper part of the spine. Hips still facing forwards, we don't want more mobility here, we want this to be nice and stable, but we're just trying to loosen up through the spine. And then from there we're going to go into, it's called no money. So taking your hands to the ceiling, thumbs going out behind you, pushing back behind you, and you should start to feel those muscles between the shoulder blades or around the shoulder blades opening up. So it doesn't matter whether you're standing, you've been kneeling, whatever. I'm just coming down so you can see me. Holding it there for about 5 seconds. Now this is a lovely one to do at the side of the pool when we do get back into pools. Just starting to activate those muscles there. If you carry on with a few more sets, well, I just explain why. So when we're swimming, you see so many people that have that crossover at the front, arms come in like that, they cross over this midline, this no man's land, and if we're crossing over there, our body tries to find balance, so we end up with our hips going, our legs going, we end up with that wiggling down the pool with our legs. If you think about it, if you circle your arms now, and if you've got that poor posture because you've been hunched over the computer all day, your arms cross over. If we start to engage those muscles at the back, and then we circle our arms, we've got that stability and the arms aren't crossing over. So these muscles here, just a few more, are so important for keeping that stability at the shoulder joint, protecting us from injury, but also protecting us from doing that crossover. So a really good one to do at the lane end, but you've done it now, waking up those muscles. Okay, so now we're going into the workout. Now, you want some sort of band to do this with. If you've got swim bands, amazing, but don't worry if you haven't. You could have a pair of tights. I've just got a nice loose TheraBand. This isn't a strength exercise, so we don't want it to be too tight, too hard. We just want something fairly loose. And if you have the ability to set up, and it would completely depend on your setup, but if you have the ability to have a TV in front of you, so what we're doing here is working on our technique, and this is all about brain to body coordination. This isn't about building strength, maintaining strength. This is about getting those neural pathways, that muscle memory flowing. If you can do that while you're watching, find a video of a good swimmer. I've got the Swim Smooth video on here, but any videos you've got of good swimmers that you want to replicate their technique, if you could be watching what they're doing while you're doing it, that's going to increase that kind of mind coordination, mind to body coordination. Okay, so grabbing your swim cord, your pair of tights, your bicycle inner tube, whatever it is that you've got, we're going to break down the strokes. So we're starting with the catch. So I'm wrapping it around my finger so you can see my hand, you don't have to do that. So remember, we've got the hand coming into the pool, into the water, and then we just tip the fingers over. So we're just working on that very first part of the catch. The fingers tipping over, nice high elbow, catching the water, pulling through. And you're going to do, how many you do is going to depend on you, your strength, how tight the band is. So I'm not going to give you numbers. I'm going to keep going for 30 seconds on each one, just so you can see what's going on. So tipping over at the front, making sure what people so commonly do in swimming, you carry on with doing good technique, what people so commonly do is push down with that arm like that, and they feel like they're working because they can feel their shoulder working. But that is not what we want to do. We want to be using the lats at the back to catch the water and pull through. So the fingers tip over, elbow stays high, always thinking elbow above wrist, wrist above fingers. In terms of the setup, you could be on a stability ball, you could be lying on your bed. I'm going one side at a time because I find it helps to isolate the technique. If you want to do both arms at a time, we're going on to that afterwards. But you could be lying on your front, you could be lying on a chair so that you've got that feeling of being flat in the water. If you're doing the position I'm doing, you want to think about having a nice straight back, core engaged, protecting your back. Quite similar to a cyclist position, so it's a really good position to be practicing and getting all those muscles firing as we're in that position. So you've done your catch, then we're going through to the push part. Then we're going through to the pull. So then we're following it all the way through. Now I can feel more muscles working. I'm making sure my technique's still good. So fingers tip over, elbow stays high as we come through. Imagining that we've got, I think about having a big yoga ball underneath my armpit, so that as I come through, that elbow staying high, I'm not tempted to let the elbow drop down. That elbow drop there. If you can set up how I've got it so I can see myself what I'm doing, that's going to help you work on that technique as well. So now we're going into the push. So this is the bit at the back. If you know the skull 3 or otter drill, this is this one. I can really feel my triceps working. I'm pushing the hand back behind me. Remember, I'm finishing that stroke with my hand pushing back behind me rather than going flat up. So imagine I've got something written on my palm and I'm showing that message to the person in the pool behind me. A little bit difficult to do with the cord pulling me in, but in like that. Lovely. So now we're going back to the other hand. So starting with the catch, doesn't matter what the other arm's doing. Fingers tipping over, elbow staying high. Now I know I'm a lot weaker on my left side than my right side in terms of not just strength, but control. I find it a lot harder to get the technique right. So catching, fingers tipping over, elbow staying high as we pull in. Then we're going into the pull, so we're coming all the way through. Feeling those muscles starting to work. So it's going to depend on your band, how strong it is, how tight it is. So adjust for the right number of reps for you. You should feel this working, but it shouldn't be as if you've done an absolutely really tough upper body workout. This is much more about that coordination, that neuromuscular technique, that muscle memory. Lovely, and then we're going into just that final part of the stroke, that push part, feeling those triceps really working. This is the one that if you're doing it under the water, you've got that really uncomfortable, you carry on, I'm just getting the things twisted, you've got that really uncomfortable coming back through the water, the recovery part, but no water to drag against you here, so we're just pushing back, really feeling the triceps working. A little bit longer on this side. Push back, feeling the burn now. Lovely. Obviously making sure you've got your anchor point secure at the front. Now we're taking it into the full body. So we're starting the stroke, the catch, the pull, the push, then through on the other side. Don't worry too much about what the recovery is looking like. It's going to be an underwater recovery, but it's the above the water part that we're worrying about. If you can, adding in that rotation, you could even add in some breathing action if you want. Practice, if you're somebody who struggles with bilateral breathing, you could just add that into the pattern as well. I can see my elbow starting to drop there on that left side. I'm not even starting, dropping on that left side. I know that's something I need to work on in my swing. There it went. Lovely. So there we've gone through the whole stroke set. Now that is something, if you're doing that regularly, do that a few times through, that's going to help to keep that muscle memory, maybe even build some if you've got that video going, if you're watching yourself on screen and you can really work on that technique. I know some people are also wanting to work on the actual strength side of things. In the bodyweight workouts that I've been doing each week, I'm definitely including some upper body stuff in there. But if you want to do some band-based work, if you have a stronger band or one that you can loop double, this is more strength work. So if you can make it a little bit tougher, if not, you're still going to get a workout. You might just want to do more reps. So we're going to go into some rows. So with your rows, you're thinking about pulling in towards you, nice straight back. You don't have to be squatting down, you could be kneeling down. It's going to depend what height your band's at. Pulling in. As you're pulling in, the muscles that we want to feel working are your lats, these big muscles at the back here. So you pull in, really getting those muscles working, making sure you're not going too far back with your elbows. If you do, the shoulders coming forwards at the front, and then it's going to start to aggravate the shoulder capsules. So just keeping it just to elbows coming to your sides. Number of reps is really going to depend on how hard your band is, how many times you need to go to feel it working, but you should hopefully be starting to feel those lats work as you pull in. Now then, you can also, if you have some weights, you can add in some weights. If you want to work on the shoulders, you could, bottles of water, you could just go into those shoulder raises. Now depending on how heavy your weight is, you might find that this is too easy just raising up. So instead you could go for a hold like this, see how long you can hold it for, and you can then start to feel those shoulders working. In terms of other ways to maintain your swim fitness, I would say the biggest thing that you can do really is to be working on your cardio fitness. So if you're doing your cycling, if you're doing your running, you're at least maintaining that cardio fitness. That, I think, is actually the most important thing that we can be doing to maintain our swim fitness. but obviously we want to do more. So if you add in these drills a few times a week, they shouldn't take too long at all. Just add them in when you can, maybe at the end of the turbo workout or something, so that you can keep it in that routine. Then it's going to, as I say, just build that mind muscle memory. The other things which I'm not doing today, because I've certainly got loads of videos working on these, but you need to be making sure you're working on your glutes. So when we're in the pool and we're kicking, we need that strong pull back from behind. So having that glute power and control and coordination, get back with those arms, but also your core as well, obviously. So any of my bodyweight workouts got loads of glute work, loads of core work in there. So you can definitely be building those up. So that's a nice easy way, not easy, it's hurting, to build up the shoulder strength. Another really good one to do for shoulder stability, if you've only got a light weight, maybe even a plate, you can hold the plate upside down. If you've got a light kettlebell, you can hold it upside down. This isn't doing much for me in terms of weight workouts normally, but holding it upside down like this is making me really work on that shoulder stability. So I might go into some lunges where I've got it above my head, so I'm increasing the instability of my body, making my body work harder down here to maintain that stability. But by putting the kettlebell into that bottom up position, I'm really having to work on that shoulder stability. So you can have it right above your head, wherever feels comfortable, but adding in that instability can really help to work through that whole arm complex, building stability. That is it for today. The only other thing that I would add in is keeping on working on that stability through the shoulder area. So what we were talking about at the beginning with those no monies, you can do, I call it my twirl routine, just twirl because it makes it easy to remember. So we're doing arms out to the side, pulling the shoulder blades together. So we're just activating that muscle between the shoulder blades at the back there, or all around the shoulder blades. Pulling in, so that's your T. Let me show you from behind. So shoulder blades pulling in, hold for a few seconds, relax. So we go through twirl, so we've got our T, we've got our W, pulling in. Remember, it's not a big movement, it's not like this, it's tiny movement, just activating those muscles through there. T, W, A, that's probably the hardest one. Y, and then L, that's a nice easy one, that's pretty much the one that we began with. So you can do that interspersed throughout your routine, or you can do that just while you're sitting at your desk, just waking up those muscles at the back. So there you've got it, you've got your mobility, whatever you're doing, try and work on that mobility. Then we've got the muscle memory, the coordination technique stuff with the breaking down the catch, the push, the pull, using the swim bands, and then if you've got a stronger band, doing some work to build up the lats at the back there. Triceps we were getting already with the push, but you could do some overhead tricep work as well if you've got the right kind of weight, so that kind of thing. Or I always include body weight tricep work in my workout videos. Glutes and core through whatever other workouts you're doing, and just maintaining your cardio strength through the running. I hope that helps, and I hope to see